Rochelle, and I know I've been missing for about 5 to 6 months, but I am back. As you can see by the title of this video, I am coming to share with you guys my fibroid / myomectomy story, and that's the reason why I've been missing from YouTube for so long. So if you bells are interested and wanted to know what was going on with me, definitely please stay tuned. Oh my gosh, I don't know where to begin, but first I would like to say that I am feeling so much better, hence why I'm on camera. Just random, if you hear some noise rattling in the background, it is really windy today and it sounds like my house is about to blow away, so just please ignore it. Okay, so I was diagnosed with having a fibroid a couple of years ago. I only had one at the time, and it was discovered when I had a miscarriage. So when I spoke to my gyno, he was like, it's nothing to really worry about. It's a small fibroid. If I happen to miscarry again, and then at that time, we can, talk about getting it removed, but he was pretty confident that it wouldn't cause me any other issues. I took his advice and I did not do anything about the situation because he was pretty confident that it wouldn't cause me any further issues. Well, it did. Well, as time went on, I noticed that my menstrual cycles started to get a lot heavier and they would last a little bit longer. So there was a time once where my menstrual cycle stayed on for literally an entire month. I mean, every day. It would shut off for maybe one day, and then it will come on the very next day like somebody turned on a water faucet. So I went back to a gyno, which was not the same one that I went to prior to, and then at that time she diagnosed me with having PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. I will do another video on that one if you guys are interested in that. So she put me on medication for it, which is for metformin, and she looked at my fibroid again as well. It was still just one at the time, and it was pretty small, so it didn't really grow. But she told me the reason why I'm having the menstrual cycles the heavy menstrual cycles were because of the PCOS. So I saw that gyno for a while, and then I ended up moving to a different state. So everything was pretty much the same, and then within the last, I'm gonna say maybe 2 years, I noticed that my menstrual cycle started to get a lot worse, to the point where it was causing me extreme pain. Like, I would have pain in my hip, my back would hurt so bad. I felt like somebody was stabbing me in the back every time my menstrual cycle came on. I was getting to the point that the big purple pads, the one that's supposed to be for overnight, I would fill those up in like an hour or an hour and a half, like the first 3 days of my cycle. And I'm just like, this is not normal. I had a different doctor up here, and I mentioned it to her, and I love this doctor. Like, this is the best gyno I've ever had, and she's wonderful. Anyway, I digress. So I explained to her what was going on in my situation, and that I had PCOS, what the previous doctor had said and everything. And she went to send me off to go get an ultrasound. So I got that ultrasound, and come to find out that I had several fibroids that kind of just like multiplied, and they were what was causing me pain. So she recommended that I have a myomectomy. So I was all set and ready to have a myomectomy, but I had to push it off by another year because life happens. So I kind of put my health on the back burner to deal with some other issues that was going on in my life. So once things started to settle down, I went back to her again, and at that time my symptoms were a whole lot worse, meaning my menstrual cycles were horrible. Like, they would last 7 to 8 days, like non-stop, like somebody turned on a water faucet and left it on and just kept walking. And I would be in so much pain. My hips would hurt, my lower back would hurt, cramps would become unbelievable. Like, I literally felt like I was in labor every month because those cramps were so intense. My iron levels dropped so low. Like, if I stood up, I was instantly dizzy. If I took a couple steps, I thought I was going to pass out. My head was constantly spinning, and it was just horrible. Also, the location of fibroids were giving me other issues as well. I had one pressed against my bladder, which was making it difficult for me to hold urine. So I felt like I was pregnant all the time because I was constantly running to the bathroom because I could not hold it. If I sneezed, accident. If I laughed, accident. If I was carrying a laundry basket and it pressed against my stomach, accident. I looked like I was about 5 months pregnant, which is kind of embarrassing because somebody did ask me if I was pregnant once, and I was like, no. There was also another one that was kind of pressing against my diaphragm, so it was kind of making it hard for me to breathe. So I would run out of breath constantly. So of course I was just over it and so ready to get rid of them. So once everything was situated and kind of calmed down in my life, I went back and got another ultrasound. The fibroids that I had are actually kind of like doubled or in size. So the biggest one that I had was about, she said was 7 centimeters. So, and I had several other small ones. But the one that was giving me trouble was the one that was pressing against my bladder. And then there is another one that is, that was later discovered during surgery, that's pressing against my rectum. So I have the ultrasound, and you know, we scheduled to have my myomectomy, which I had on November the 30th. I was so scared because I've never had surgery in my life. So I prepared myself as much as possible because again, I've never had surgery. I was scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, I'm scared of the pain and everything. So I would definitely recommend doing your research and, you know, gathering as much information as possible because it is major surgery. And of course, I was just scared out of my wits. My best friend had actually flown down the day before so that she could be here to help me. And then my boyfriend also was there to help me out as well. So prior to the surgery, they do tell you to not eat or drink anything after midnight. So I think I had dinner maybe around 8 or 8:30. So I did pack a hospital bag, and in that hospital bag, I had pajamas, I had some socks. I also had underwear, and what I would suggest is that you get really big granny panties because the cute little panties are not going to work. You would also need sanitary napkins and you know, toiletries and stuff like that. So I was in the hospital for 3 days. So I believe my surgery, I believe I was in surgery for almost 2 hours or 2.5 hours. I'm not sure, I can't really remember. But I do know that there were 5 fibroids removed, and I will insert a picture either right here or right here. I'm not sure what side it's gonna pop up on, but you will see it. And she removed a total of 5 fibroids. I still have 1 remaining, and which was really difficult to get to because it's sitting towards the bottom of my uterus, towards the rectum part. And she stated that in order for her to get that particular fibroid out, I would have to have a hysterectomy because of the way that it was located, and I don't want to have a hysterectomy. I still want my uterus. So I will deal with that as time goes on to see if it, you know, continues, if it causes me any problems in the future. But the other 5 did get taken out. The biggest fibroid at the time, she said, was 7 centimeters. But later on, when I went to another follow-up appointment, she told me that that fibroid was actually about 10 to 11 centimeters big. The cut that I had was the bikini cut. Okay, so the only thing that I can really remember about my surgery, I remember when they were putting in the IV, and then they gave me some pills for anxiety and something for acid reflux. And then the anesthesiologist was coming in. They gave me something in the IV to numb me. And the reason for that is because I had, I don't remember what the name of it's called, but they did to help with the pain after surgery, where they stuck these really long needles in my stomach, on each side of my stomach, to numb the pain. But at that time, whatever medication they don't stuck in my IV, I couldn't feel it, and I was already a little loopy. I remember telling the doctor, she asked me, what was I going to dream about? I told her I was going to dream about Krispy Kreme. I wanted donuts. And the reason for that, it was embedded in my head because on the way to the hospital, we passed Krispy Kreme and the now hot lights were on. And unfortunately, that was the only thing that I could remember. Yeah, so I told her I was going to dream about donuts and then running on the beach in Paris with the donuts in my hand. How fat girl friendly is that, right? Anywho, so after I woke up from after I woke up from recovery, I can't really tell you what happened after the fact because I was in pain. They did hook me up to a morphine pump where I was able to press the button to get a dose of morphine like every 10 minutes. And that was the only thing that I can kind of remember. And I remember falling asleep like all the time and blaming other folks for snoring when in actuality it was me. It was 2 liters of blood. And she actually gave me 1 liter back because there was this filtration device that used to, I'm not sure the name of it, where they kind of filter your own blood and give it back to you, so I didn't have to have a blood transfusion. So that was pretty awesome as well. So my total stay in the hospital was about 3 days. So the very next day I was in so much pain. Like that, oh my god, I was in so much pain. And then what's even worse than that pain was the gas pain. Like, gas pain was a bitch, excuse my language. But I could not go. Like, oh my god, the gas bubbles was traveling. I thought I was about to heal over. That was worse than the freaking cut that I had that was healing. What also hurts like hell is laughing, sneezing, or coughing. I made a mistake. My boyfriend told a joke, and I started to laugh, and I thought that I was about to fall out of that bed because yeah. What I would recommend is, like, if you're gonna laugh, if you have to sneeze, if you have to cough, is to grab a pillow and push it against your incision, not too hard, but kind of like just to hold it there so that it takes away from some of the pain. Yeah, it's still gonna hurt, but it's not going to hurt as bad. I did have to walk like the very next day, halfway throughout the day. They did take me off of a liquid diet because eventually I did pass gas, so then I was able to eat solids. So I did have to get up and walk as well around to get the blood circulating and stuff like that. So I was creeping around the hospital. They actually put me on the maternity floor. So I did walk around a couple of times. What I would suggest is that you definitely will need help. This is not something that you can do on your own. Again, my best friend was here, and she was absolutely amazeballs. Like, she helped me with everything, and I appreciate her so much. My boyfriend was there. He helped out as well, and made sure that when I was at home that, you know, I had the things that I needed as well. But again, you will need help. This is not something that you will be able to come home and just recover on your own. That will not happen. I had this really awesome nurse while I was in the hospital, and she gave me some advice, which would be, because I have stairs, I stay in a 2-story home, that if I am going up the stairs, to not walk up them, the normal way, to walk up them backwards. And I was like, okay. And she was like, no, trust me, because she had a hysterectomy a couple years ago. Walking up the stairs backwards like takes away the pain, and well, it doesn't really take away the pain, but it doesn't cause so much pain. So that actually worked. I walked upstairs for about a good week and a half, almost 2 weeks backwards, and I was able to get up the stairs fine without putting so much pressure on my incision. So that was some awesome advice. Also, while I was at home, I did walk. Even if you don't feel like it, you would have to walk. So I made sure that I did try to walk at least 2 to 3 times, maybe 4 times a day, even if it was just to the front door and back. I was creeping really, really slow, but walking helped with your recovery, and also walking did help me with the gas that I had at home that I could not pass. So definitely walk if you do not feel like it. I did forget to mention, before they let me go home, I had to pass a bowel movement, and I could not go. Like, that 3rd day, I was so ready to go home, but they won't let me because I couldn't go. So I had some of everything. I had milk, chocolate milk, warm prune juice. I had milk with magnesia. None of that crap would work. I had magnesium citrate. That would not work. All that did was make me sick. I took a nap, woke up, and still couldn't go. Decided to go walk around the hospital again, and I took another milk of magnesium. No, I'm lying. I took another milk magnesium citrate, and at the time, this nurse recommended that, hey, go ahead and drink a cup of coffee, but drink it hot. Don't let it cool off, since you just drank that magnesium citrate, and you will be able to go, I promise you. She said, I promise you that will work. So I would have took whatever they told me to take because I just wanted to go. So I drank the hot cup of coffee, and it just felt like it was sitting on top of my stomach along with everything else that was there, and I started to feel like nauseous. I thought I was going to hurl all over the place. About 30 minutes later, oh my God, when I tell you it worked, yes, it did. And I was able to go home. I was so excited because I was ready to get the heck up out of that dang hospital. I didn't really have a very good night the first night home, and the reason being is because I ended up falling out of the bed, and the reason I fell out of the bed is because I was trying to be superwoman and I didn't want to disturb my best friend. I hit that floor super hard and yeah, caused myself more pain. Come to find out later on, I ended up popping a stitch and my incision didn't heal all the way, or right now I'm still in recovery. Like one side has not closed completely. So I actually have another follow-up appointment on January the 4th to make sure that that particular section actually closed, because everything else is closing up but that one little section. So again, that was my fault. I should have woke someone up. But again, I wanted to try to get to the bathroom and I didn't want to ask anybody for any help because they were tired and they were sleeping and they were knocked the hell out. So besides that, that's pretty much my myomectomy story. My recovery time is about 4 to 6 weeks. Right now I am almost 4 weeks post-operation and I'm feeling good. My energy level has returned back again. It's just I have that one little section that hasn't closed, but I'll go see about that next week Wednesday to see if it has closed up. She gave me antibiotics to fight off any infection that may be there, and we're just going to check to see if that is closed. Hopefully it has. So I just wanted to come to you guys to kind of just give you a little what's up and let you know where I've been. I'm back. I'm excited. I am going to film a lot more videos. I want to thank you, Belle, so much for watching this video. And if you like this video, of course, go ahead and like this video. And if you're in a sharing mood, go ahead and share it as well, because sharing is caring. Also, go ahead and do your girl a flavor, always chocolate, and hit that subscribe button. And I'll check you, Bells, in another video.